Interesting. Is she concerned about the location you guys are taking the children to? Because ex-wife is likely to go with y'all if it's to Peru but not to Canada? Is she kind of a helicopter parent? Or is she afraid y'all are just going to leave and not come back? Possible, but unlikely, right? Maybe she's afraid that the children didn't get supervised well because dad is taking his GF and they want to be romantic so the children get less supervision? Maybe if y'all are thinking of taking the children, just do somewhere closer so she's less likely be anxious. I know every couple's blended family has different dynamic though. I usually don't see step-parents traveling together with step-children's bio-parent, it's not that common, but I guess, some have done this. Throw away, of course. Though there is a hefty amount of context, I will try only bring up what is most relevant to avoid a wall of text, but some things I cannot include due to sub-rules. I met my stepdad when I was 9 years old. A year prior, my biological dad passed away in an accident. Up until this point, every other major relationship of mine with an older man had been tarnished, and I had deep-rooted distrust or discomfort with men. This resulted from assault from two very close family. I believe this is important to note for later. It took a good deal of time to become comfortable and trust Step, but he's a very down-to-earth person who, though is scary in a grocery store, was very goofy and easy to get along with as a 9-year-old. He also had other daughters that encouraged me to trust him. Step has supported me consistently and been a really great father figure through award ceremonies, plays, breakups, my first guitar, teaching me how to drive, driving me to school every day, playing video games with me, my first job interview, prom etc. etc. We were close. Basically my point is, despite what happened to me, I put a lot of trust into Step and he always pulled through. I finally met a man who didn't use our relationship to get to me and hurt me, aside from my actual dad. Which is why I feel revolted by it being insinuated to date him, or run off with him, or even have intimate with him by my mom. This issue started 2.5 years ago when mom had a volatile affair with a younger man. I mean a downright shit show. Drugs, debt review, writing off a Ford Ranger, ambulances, losing her job, rehab. We had to move to a different town. A brink of divorce. Through this, Step and I did become more close and we still are now. My point is, the affair was messy and it is still a point of arguments at home. Arguments that are met with, you are a tag team, the two of you I am always the bad guy I'll just leave and you two can be happy together go marry and live with her then remarks of sh and, on one occasion, was plainly said go make her your girlfriend and have intimate. She has sat sobbing in front me after arguments saying she is jealous of our relationship. This makes me feel awful. It makes me feel grimy and honestly, it makes me feel very guilty. I feel awful that being close with a man can mean nothing but to be intimate, and that I put myself in this position again. Especially considered we do hug or he'll kiss me good night, or has a nickname Honey Bunny. I am beginning to question all affection. I also feel angry that I'm put on any plane of competitive or relationship of the same context as my mom with my stepdad. To me they are completely different kinds of affection, and for it to be compared is disgusting. I feel ashamed that I may be entertaining something awful. I hate to see my mom cry and I appreciate the relationship I have with my stepdad. Is my relationship with my stepdad normal? Is it healthy? Is it weird? Gross? Is this problem between my parents and not me? I worry I gross my friends out by speaking about this and would appreciate objective insight. Comment. I don't see any odd relationship with your stepdad. To me, both of you have a healthy relationship. Your mother is only projecting their thoughts there. She thinks that your stepdad wanna get laid with you because she did it with a young man, and I don't see that here. I think that he loves you a lot as a stepdaughter. Your mom is projecting her insecurity and adultery onto you and it's kinda gross. She's brought herself low in her infidelity and is now trying to bring the rest of you down to her level so she's not the only one with mud in her teeth. Toxic people will do everything they can to make you feel like the good relationships in your life are wrong or bad, that way they can more easily control and manipulate you as you have fewer good relationships/people to turn to. It's an alienation tactic and your mom is a real piece of work for doing this. Exactly what I was going to say. She broke her marriage, and rather than take responsibility for that and work on rebuilding trust with her husband, she's trying to make you the scapegoat for everything that still feels wrong and broken. That's not okay. Hold firm that it's not okay, and do what you can to cultivate a supportive relationship with your stepfather independent of her. And may I add, it is bloody heartbreaking that Op's own mother is making OP question the one and only man in her life that has been worthy of the trust he's earned. I understand that fear, that reluctance to get close or trust the motivations of the men you encounter. How hard it can be to trust again, and how hard Step has undoubtedly had to work to earn Op's trust. To poison that father-daughter relationship, particularly in this manner, because Mum selfishly threw away the trust that was previously in her marriage, is sickening. Info: OP, how long has your mother been sober? Is she actually sober? Did she seek professional help outside of emergency medical care? Your mom is just a broken person that is unfortunately selfish and toxic. Look at her judgment, choices, and behavior. Additionally, she is likely trying to hurt him too. Wanting to remove your happy relationship from him. You need to distance yourself from her. She's not interested in your best interests. She's unhappy and wants you unhappy. It's petty, but that's her. I know it's very difficult, especially because of the trauma you've endured, but try not to let your mom's poison ruin your relationship with your stepdad. You need positive, healthy relationships to keep you grounded in life, and it sounds like you have exactly that with your stepdad. Your mom is seeing you as competition and trying to ruin that. That is her own toxicity and has no bearing on your perfectly normal relationship with a good parental figure. Your mom is being horrible, just horrible. She is not only sexualizing your normal relationship with your father, but she's also using your previous sexual abuse against you. Clearly she's projecting her own bad behavior onto you both. This is her issue to deal with, and I'm so sorry you're having to deal with it. If she isn't willing to do something about her awful behavior, i.e. therapy, actually changing, then you'd be well within your rights to reduce contact with her. I'm surprised your stepdad is putting up with it too, frankly. Story 2. My boyfriend's ex-wife wants to travel with us and their kids. I want to first fully acknowledge that I understand I am not a true step-parent, but sincerely do hope to be one day and be a part of this wonderful family. I have been with my boyfriend for a year. He has 2 kids from a prior marriage, both in their pre-teens. We recently went to get passports, and as they are minors, their mom had to come to sign off as well. Everything was fine. She and I have always been kind to one another. She said that if we do plan on traveling outside the country with her kids, she would expect an invite. I understood, but seeing as we were getting a passports just because and not that we had any immediate plans, I didn't say anything. Now with the holidays approaching, I guess there is a Black Friday deal on flights, and my boyfriend is looking to book a 10-day trip to Peru next year. I told him I was feeling uncomfortable because I didn't want to travel for 10 days with his ex-wife. I suggested if he wanted to travel outside the country, then maybe we could go somewhere simple like Canada, and then maybe the ex-wife wouldn't have to join. Or do something small, not for as long, and invite her to that and see how it goes. Do step-parents usually travel with their stepchildren biological parent? Edit, for all those wondering how my boyfriend felt. He wants to do what I feel comfortable with and said it seems wiser to do a small local trip altogether before jumping the gun. However, he doesn't disagree with his ex-wife's thoughts, as he would be worried and constantly thinking of his kids if they were out of the country without him. As well, the mom is not as wealthy, so I wouldn't be surprised if my boyfriend was expected to pay a majority if not all of her costs, as they would get blended in with hotel, all of us eating out, travel, etc. It's more difficult to isolate costs, I imagine, when you are all out together. Comment. Having his ex go on destination vacations is the same as her thinking neither one of you are capable of watching them, and you two agreeing with her on that. I would hold off on vacations to distant locations until the kids are a little older. Otherwise, the ex joining may confuse the kids while making you feel like a third wheel. That doesn't sound normal, but since you are asking, you are going to do anything they agree to. You aren't in a relationship where your influence is important. You need to date someone that doesn't have this baggage. No, I don't think so, but I also think the ex has to give permission to take the kids out of the country. This may be a way that she blackmails her ex to come. She won't allow it unless she comes. Check the law and see if that's the case. This isn't rare, as the PPL in the comments claim it to be. Blended families go in long trips together all the time. If you're not comfortable, that's completely understandable. Like some others said, I would hold off on long trips outside the country until the children are older. The problem is, as a parent, she doesn't know you and thus does not trust you with her kids. This is why usually custody agreements need both parents to sign off. You've been around for a minute, there are few good parents that would let a relative stranger on an international trip with their kids. If you want that to change, you need to make an effort to get to know her. BC, I'm not risking my kids on the off chance that you're fine. There are so many step-parents that are horrible. And you're not even at that level, so less reason to trust you anyways. The child's other parent is also there. It's not like OP is taking the kids out of the county herself. The reality is that when you get a divorce, there's certain things you need to acknowledge, like your ex might have a new partner or the kids might travel without you. Interesting. Is she concerned about the location you guys are taking the children to? Because ex-wife is likely to go with y'all if it's to Peru but not to Canada? Is she kind of a helicopter parent? Or is she afraid y'all are just going to leave and not come back? Possible, but unlikely, right? Maybe she's afraid that the children didn't get supervised well because dad is taking his GF and they want to be romantic, so the children get less supervision? Maybe if y'all are thinking of taking the children, just do somewhere closer so she's less likely be anxious. I know every couple's blended family has different dynamic though. I usually don't see step-parents traveling together with step-children's bio-parent, it's not that common, but I guess some have done this. I read another commenter's POV and I think it's important to note that your BF, as much as you seem to feel that he's attentive enough of a father, you probably miss things, i.e., allergy, etc. His ex-wife may be more attentive than your BF and pays more attention. She may just be afraid things would go south and without her around, the kids' well-being are not being advocated enough. That's a possibility why she wants to tag along. I doubt it's due to her wanting a free vacation. It's gotta be uncomfortable joining your ex with his new love interest, but she's thinking more for the safety and comfort of her children. Can't you guys try taking the children out closer? Or maybe he can just take the kids abroad himself so he'll be fully immersed in parenting and bonding with the children. After the kids are older, maybe then, you guys can consider taking a broad vacation.